What is going on, guys? It is Snorlaxus here, bringing you guys week 3 of the PBF. If you guys haven't watched the first two battles, they are up. You can go watch them. Not to spoil too much, but I am 1-1. I am zero differential. I won one at +3, I believe, and one at -3. So I'm even at the moment coming into this match. This is versus Overgrowth Septile or Adam. Good guy, very fun match against him. But I did try to record it live. Like I said, I wanted to start recording live when I got the chance. In my last two videos, I mentioned that a lot. But this match did end up going over 15 minutes, which is the limit for this screencast that I'm using. So unfortunately, I had to delete the footage from that and then do a post-com here. As you can see, he did bring Hitmonlee, Suicune, Mega Scissor, Arcanine, Thundurus, and Cofagrigus, a very bulky team. Not quite what I was expecting, considering he had a Hoopa Unbound that I prepped pretty heavily for, that he ended up not even bringing, and I definitely was shocked. But I mean, it's honestly it's welcome. The less I have to deal with something like a Hoopa Unbound, the better. And then I did bring my Blacephalon, Thundurus T, Hydreigon, Empoleon, Mecha Gallade, and Miltank. I have a decent amount of bulk on both Empoleon and Miltank, but my other four mons are very offensive, so it's kind of an offensive versus defensive matchup going on here. Wasn't sure exactly what to expect. And the other thing I was really expecting on his team was he has a Piloswine, which that dual ground ice stab would hit four of my big time mons I like using, being Blacephalon, Thundurus, Hydreigon, and Empoleon for super effective damage, and it's very bulky. So I was definitely prepping pretty heavily for that as well. I definitely thought it was coming. It did not, but my prep around his team that I was expecting originally. So I have a Scarf Blacephalon, I have a Electrium Z Thundurus T, I have a Scarf Hydreigon. I believe I was Shuka on Empoleon, and then I have Mega Glade and just a regular leftovers Meltank there. So without further ado, we'll hop on into this here. So starting out, I wasn't sure what he would start out with, considering he had a very bulky team. I expected that he would probably start out with either Zapdos or Scissor to get that momentum going, or potentially even Arcanine just to get intimidated off and see what I was going to go for. So I figured my best option would just be to lead Meltank, get my rocks up, and see what's going to happen from there to try and wear down that Arcanine and that Zapdos there. But he either predicted that or just had a very good choice of his lead and goes right into that Hitmonlee, which is the one thing I really did not want to see at the beginning here. Is I have to double right out into my Mega Gallade. I don't really have a great fighting counter on the team I brought this week. Like I said, I didn't prep too heavily for Hitmonlee, expecting stuff like that Hoopa Bound and that Piloswine to come. So, well, I did see it as an option. I did not prep heavily for it, and I didn't bring Chople on anything or outside Blacephalon, nothing that will really resist it too heavily. But knowing that he has stuff like Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge, I did not want to go into my Blacephalon yet. So I make the switch into my Mega Gallade, knowing that I can take anything he goes for, and then he'll more than likely have to switch out, knowing that I can OHKO him back with a Psychic move. I was expecting a knockoff just to kind of scout, but he does show right away that he does have that Stone Edge, which is definitely problematic, as obviously it hits my Blacephalon, my Thundurus for super effective damage, and then it has that high crit chance, so you never know what it's going to do to you. So I just end up going for the knockoff on this following turn myself, what I expected him to do, just to kind of scout what his switch in is. He does go into that Arcanine with the Intimidate, which I expected, and I was kind of thinking he might be Rocky Helmet, potentially. Might be a berry, like a Shuka berry, or somebody trying to live a hit, but he does just show the leftovers, so it's nice to get rid of those. And it does give me a chance to go right back out into my Meltank here, as he fires off the Will-O-Wisp, which this was kind of a problem for me, honestly, because I do have Fire Punch for that Scissor, which he brings in right now as I go for a Toxic. And I wish I had gone for Rocks there, knowing that he was going to make the Scissor switch, but I could have never known that. But that Will-O-Wisp was not something I was expecting, especially considering I could have switched into like my Empoleon or my Thundurus or my Blacephalon. Like I have a lot of special attackers on this team, so I didn't think that he would just straight up go for Will-O-Wisp, let alone bring it. But he did, and it was a very good play on his part, because now I end up going into my Empoleon here as he shows off that superpower, and it does a lot of damage to me, which is just very unfortunate. He goes for the U-turn, though, which I did not think he would go for the U-turn, because I knew I would outspeed him with my speed investment unless he was max speed Scissor, but I expected him just to hard switch there, because by U-turning, he did put me in a torrent range. So as you'll see here, I just fire for Scald. It does over half to a Zapdos, and Zapdos is it's fairly bulky. And then right here is kind of a thing I wish I would have changed, like, or changed what I did looking back on it. He goes for that heat wave and he ends up missing it. So unfortunately for him, that does mean that if I had fired off another Scald there's a decent chance I could have killed him. But I did go for that toxic, either just to try and prevent any doubles he might have tried to pull, like into like that Suicune or something else. But he didn't, and he did miss the move. So it was not a bad play on my part, like going for the toxic. I think it was still worth it in the long run. But firing off a Scalder, I believe Ice Beam even would have been a better choice for me at that point. But he will just the following turn then go for the Heat Wave again, and he will hit and take me out. But at least I'm about half health, which is good because like I said, he has a very bulky team. So I'll just go right ahead into my stuff on here. I want to see what his switch was. I kind of assumed it would be the Suicune, but I wanted to see what he would bring, knowing that his Zap was already low, and I wanted to see if he switched into Arcanine, how much special defense investment he had, or what his plan was. But it is a Suicune. Obviously, I cannot stay in on this, so I'm going to switch right ahead out, and I believe I go back into my Meltank here. And I will eat the Ice Beam with my Thick Fat, take almost no damage after the burn, and I will just finally get up my rocks, try and weaken this team a little more as he yells out the Scissor. Knowing that I'm kind of set up father and that he has a superpower, I want him to just stay in and attack me. So I'll go for the Fire Punch here, showing that I do literally no damage after that burn, but I do get a little bit of damage off, and he just U-turns out. So here I'm in a little bit of position because I'm not sure what item he has yet on the Hitmonlee. I don't want him to get an Unburden off or a Swords Dance or anything like that and sweep up my team. But I also, if I give him a free switch to get anything up, could be very problematic down the road. So I end up just going for a Toxic here. I want to put him on a timer. If he does want to stay in and set up, that's fine by me because he'll waste a few turns of that. And I do have a couple Scarfers that, as long as I didn't stuff and I'm burdened, I can still outspeed him and kill him. But he does his Eat Toxic, goes for a Stone Edge, and I was kind of shocked here on his play. He goes into his Zapdos here, which I find out in just a second he went because he wanted to get rid of those rocks probably for his Arcanine. And so I do end up taking down Zapdos Land after the toxic damage, but he did get rid of my rocks. I don't expect that he's going to let me get him back up here. I figure he's going to go into either Hitmonlee or Scissor and just kill me off, which he does do. He goes for that high jump kick. At this point, based on his switching patterns with that Hitmonlee, I'm thinking that potentially he might be scarfed or banded or just choiced in some fashion. So again, I could have gone into my Blacephalon and try and test that theory, but in case he wasn't and had knockoff or some other tech move to try and kill me without me being able to kill him back there, because he was still at high enough range where my Blacephalon could not kill from one shot from where he was at. So I go back into my Mega Glade, and here I decided to try and set up a Swords Dance plus holster his team because he still does have a fairly healthy team of some very bulky mons that I need to start breaking down. So I go for that Swords Dance, and I'm looking at the Kelk. I'm liking what I see. I go for the knockoff, and he does end up living on the roll. Like, it's about 50-50, I believe, with his investment, from what I understand. I am able to just go for the knockoff, though, again, and take out the Cofagrigus, which is pretty huge. I still do have Blacephalon and Hydreigon, so it wasn't going to be a huge issue, in my opinion, but, and obviously getting Mega laid down so low is a problem. But here, I just decided, as nice as it would be to have some more breaking power left here, I'd rather let that Mummy that I just got past kind of take out that Scissors ability here, because if he goes for a U-turn, I have a chance to kill him off with close combat. So he has to go for a Bullet Punch, which would take away his Technician. So that's what he does end up doing, and I just end up passing him that Mummy. And here I do try to finally make my play. This is one play that the reason I brought Scarf versus another set on this week, along with Scarf Hydreigon, was I didn't see reason for multiple Scarfers versus his team with his speed tiers, but I wanted to be able to try and cripple that Suicune. So here, knowing that he does not want to stay in, his Scissor is still very viable for against my other two Mons. I go ahead and predict that Suicune with the trick here, and I do end up scarfing it, which is very, very helpful for me because now that obviously he's locked in as I fire off a Toxic, and he chooses Ice Beam, expecting me to switch out, wanting to save my Blacephalon, which is I did want to save my Blacephalon here, trying to do a Scissor, but I did know that I could live one Scald unless he was very, very heavily invested, which based on my damage I've been doing, I knew he wasn't. So minus a crit, I knew I'd live at least one. Obviously, after that, I wouldn't be able to live a Bullet Punch anymore, but I could still come in on something like Arcanine or Hitmonlee and get damage off if I needed to after that. So I do stay in. He goes for the Ice Beam, does no damage, and I get basically almost all back with that leftovers that I just took from him. So at this point, I think he probably has to switch. I'm not sure what he wants to sack, but he can't stay in. Just let me kill off a Suicune. Suicune is still too helpful. He does go into the Arcanine, takes the Shadow Ball, and I expect him just to drop his Arcanine Land, knowing that I have no physical attackers left for those teammates would come in too handy. But he goes back into his Suicune, which I do get a crit there. In my opinion, it doesn't matter in the end, but he might feel differently about it as he goes for the Scald this time. And I make the switch to my Hydreigon, kind of expecting that. And here is where then I just go for the U-turn. I still stand by that play. I kind of expected him to go into Scissor, which is what I did. But also, in case he did go into Arcanine or Hitmonlee, I didn't want this thing to be in, knowing that I had to be locked in. I didn't have one move that could hit everything he has left yet. So I do end up just going right back in that Blacephalon Land, fight off that Shadow Ball, get the boost, and just kill off that Arcanine. Here is where then he goes into Hitmonlee, and he'll show what his item is. Like I said, I was kind of playing as if he was scarfed or banded or some fashion for a little bit, but I still wasn't sure. He does show that Stone Edge again and outspeeds my Blacephalon, which I know I wasn't scarfed anymore, but his max speed was still less than what I had left. So I end up going then into my Hydreigon, fire up that Flamethrower, predict on the Mega Scissor, taking it out. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, obviously, he still has this Suicune, which is an issue. Certainly, he can lock himself into Ice Beam and hit both my last two super effectively with it, but I know that I can kill him off with still two Flamethrowers with this, and I can for sure live one. So I fire off the one, do very little damage, but I do only take about half because I do have a decent amount of bulk on this Hydreigon, and then I'm able to kill him off the second after toxic damage, leaving his Hitmonlee left. So at this point, it comes down to what he wants to lock himself into. I still don't know his full moveset. All I've seen so far is Stone Edge and High Jump Kick, I believe. So I'm assuming, just based on what he's left, I was thinking that he's probably going to lock himself into Stone Edge. Potentially, I couldn't remember if Hitmonlee at this point had Ice Punch. I didn't think it did, but potentially Ice Punch. But he does go for that Stone Edge. Here, I do have speed, luckily, and he does not kill. It was a roll. I think if I was calculating right, I believe it was like about 50-50 on whether he would hit me or not. So it mattered a lot, but also I do know too, if based on that same calc, I don't know still exactly what his investments were and such, that there's I believe about like a 60, maybe 50-50 chance that I would live with my Thundurus. I did have some health and defense investment on that as well. So game would have been over. Plus, there's also always a chance to miss. Stone Edge does love to miss, especially for me. But I am able then to live there. He takes a little bit of toxic damage, and I take him out with the second Flamethrower. So it was a very good match, very close match, very fun. Adam's a great guy. If he has a YouTube or Twitter or anything of that sort, I will go ahead and put in the description, as well as if you haven't in the first two videos checked out the description, I also put my own Twitter and all that sort of stuff, so you can go check that out. But one really cool thing that we have this season is we have a website. So there's a website run by a guy. He set it up for us. It has a lot of other leagues on it too, but the link I'll put is specifically for the PBF. So feel free to go check out all the other leagues too. I scrolled through a couple of them. They're very, very cool pages. Some familiar faces on those ones, but on that site you can check out the standings. You can see who else is coaches in this league that I haven't faced yet. You can see like my schedule and all the other coaches' schedules. You can see full rosters. On everyone's roster will list like below. It'll say like, oh, this is this person's hazard setters, removers, clerics. Like it'll have a lot of really helpful information both for us as coaches for prepping purposes, but also for fans or anyone that's just interested in the league to check out, see how people are drafting, playing, and all that sort of stuff. You can see kill leaders. It's very cool. I definitely say it's worth to check out. Hopefully next week I'll try to record live again, and it'll be uh, less than 15 minutes. But if not, I will bring you guys another postcom here in a couple days, probably when I do my week 4 match. I can't remember who that's against, but I'll prep for that soon. If you guys live anywhere that's getting a lot of snow this week, stay inside, stay safe, stay warm. I know next couple of days here, like there's one day where we're gonna get like -50, -60 wind chills. So definitely stay inside, and if you go outside, bundle up. But other than that, just I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys again soon.